Hi, I am Cendric. I was stationed in Fort Benning, Georgia as a Master Sergeant EA in the United States Army Reserves in 2012. My military occupation was human resources, and I worked at the Components Replacement Center, or CRC, and I was responsible for receiving, processing, and training military service members, Department of Defense, DoD civilians, and contractors deploying or redeploying to and from overseas contingency operations overseas. So I was the first person from my unit at the U.S. Africa Command, which was stationed in Stuttgart, Germany, right? Working at the CRC. I was the sole liaison officer for that command, so I was the sole representative. So my hours were pretty flexible, and I didn't have the stress of all the demanding actions from my unit because they were overseas. So I had the perfect job, right? Tucked away at my desk. Anyways, hundreds and hundreds of soldiers would come here every single week, eventually to get deployed to hazardous locations overseas, such as Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, and also countries in Africa, which was under my command. So everything was going great, right? Then I got a phone call from one of my fellow mentors, and he was a sergeant major, or E9, and he said that my name had came up on the selection for sergeant major. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. I was so excited. And then he said, when was the last time you deployed to combat? And I was like, Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm, which was in 1990. And then he said, well, what's your highest level of education? I was like, associate's degree. So then he said, you know what, Master Olds, you need to be visible. How can you lead soldiers from the front and you're sitting here in the back at Fort Benning? And, he was right. I wouldn't have the respect of my soldiers under my authority if I wasn't willing to deploy in the current state of war. So guess what? I volunteered. To go to Afghanistan. Now, my family was looking at me a little crazy, and they were asking me, so why would you want to risk your life in Afghanistan? But I told them that I had to be visible. I had to set myself apart from my peers in order to be considered for the next level. So I got ready. I deployed to Afghanistan, and I arrived at Kandahar Airfield Base on December 24, 2012. So this is right before Christmas. I was assigned to the 401st Army Field Support Brigade, and their mission was to execute the sustainment, property accountability, and the retrograde operations of all the equipment that was overseas. So basically, we were supporting the warfighters. So we supported the warfighters and all the joint and multinational forces. So I had over 5,000 combined service members, DE civilians, and contractors under my authority. But my job was a human resource specialist. So I was in charge of tracking the accountability of all the people, not the logistics, not counting how many, vehicles we had. So after about 30 days on the ground, my commander wanted to see me in his office. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do wrong? Did I lose somebody in Afghanistan? Did I make a mistake? I was trying to figure out, why would he want me in his office? It's kind of hard to keep track of 5,000 people moving across Afghanistan. It's a very big country if you haven't been there. But once I was in his office, he looked at me and he said, Master Sergeant Olds, I need you to be my senior enlisted advisor. I need you to be my command sergeant major. I didn't even say anything. I was like, okay, I'm a human resource specialist. I don't know nothing about logistics. And then I said, all right, roger that, sir. What you need me to do? He was like, I need you to be visible. So I was like, okay. So this role was pretty challenging because now I was responsible for the health and welfare of over 5,000 combined service members and DA civilians and contractors. So additionally, I had to become familiar with the logistical operation. I had to become familiar with the mission. I had to be visible in all aspects of this mission to assure the equipment on the front lines was properly maintained, was properly accountable for. I had to get dirty. I had to be visible when my troops needed me for guidance and mentorship. I had to be visible to all the other logistical units throughout the region. We had 4-star generals come in, 3-star generals come in, so I had to be visible in front of all these people. So as a senior leader coming into this fast-paced organization, it was very important for me to build trust, listen actively to my peers, and then establish a positive environment amidst the combative operations. So I had to lean on others around me to learn this new role because I didn't know everything, right? I was taken out of my comfort zone as a human resource specialist, and I was moved to another position. So my mentor, who was also a command sergeant major, he told me, he said, you know what, Master Sergeant Olds, he said, in order to be a great leader, you need to just be visible. You need to put yourself in those soldiers' shoes and then show them that you're willing to do what they endure every single day. So that's what I did. I became visible to everyone in the unit. I was, taking trips all across Afghanistan. I was learning the retrograde processes. I was actively engaging with others, and I valued their opinions because I wanted to get some feedback. I got my hands dirty, right? Learning how to find ammunition and all the vehicles and tanks and everything. And I asked questions. Asking questions helps you learn. And that's what I want to do. I want to learn. So sometimes people in high ranking positions feel like, oh, that's not my job anymore. I have to do that. But I think if you want to be a great leader, you have to lead by example, right? You need to communicate effectively. You need to develop others around you and build relationships, build partnerships. So you can't be a leader unless you be visible. Thank you.